And here's the boat that I'm working on, which is a Twin Vee. It's a little bigger than what I'm used to. For example, there's my hand. There's the logo there. And if I put my hand, I can just barely reach up here on the gunnel. So it's pretty good size. Lots of extra portholes for flushing water and stuff. There's the console. Let me get back far enough so you can see it. So up on top of the top there, that fold down there is the light pole. We're going to put a radar up there. We're going to put a VHF antenna, and we're also going to put a GPS antenna up there as well. So this thing is going to be pretty well loaded when we get done with it. So the neat thing about this boat here is it's a twin hull, much like a pontoon boat, only a lot better. This is the hull. I don't know if you can see it under there, but this thing should ride really, really good in the water itself. And this really is a saltwater boat. So there's what it looks like from the bow. So we'll go back around the front. We're going to put a trolling motor on the bow. We're going to put, like I say, the radar and VHF and GPS on the roof there. I'm just about ready to mount a transducer on this side, basically on the starboard side. Okay. The only place really to mount it is there in the middle, right above the drain plug. So it's got twin Suzuki 150s on it. It's basically covered up right now. So let me walk up here. He's got a nice set of stairs to come up on it because, like I say, it's pretty big. So this is the view here. It's the center console. And the nice thing about it, this is a lot nicer than bass boats. We've been playing around with running cable already. And what we do is we just simply pull these giant panels off the side, and now we can access and do cable runs. We've already got, on this side, we got the trolling motor power cable run. On the other side, we've got the wire snake ready to run. We're going to basically mount a LiveScanner right here. So it's going to go in this hole. We're going to change this mount out and mount the LiveScanner on a pole mount, so be able to pick it up and move it around. And we'll have the Livescope here, and we're going to use the Livescope XR. This is the initial console here, and it's pretty much a blank canvas. The plan is we're going to put a 12-inch Garmin here, we put a 12-inch Garmin here, and then we're going to take and put the VHF radio right here. Okay. The other option is to put it in this vertical slot. I think this, from a visibility perspective, would be a little bit better if I can fit it behind those cup holders. So that's that piece. This, I took a little video of this earlier. This is the area we're going to store everything. We've pretty much decided we're going to need a separate electronics battery. Okay. We're going to run, he's got a 36 volt, 120 amp hour lithium battery for his trolling motor. So we're going to put that where that spool is. And then this is where the trolling motor mount is going to go. He made that. Cass did a pretty good job on it. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to get another one of these type mounts here over on the side so you can reach up there and do that. We're also going to then take the trolling motor plug, attach it to this trolling motor power cable here, and put it over there. That way it can come off. We can easily service that. So that's pretty much a quick walk around of this boat. Like I say, it's huge. Basically, compared to what I'm used to working on, which are, my boat's a 22 foot, and it's big compared to most bass boats. So as we work through this stuff, I'll show you more and more and more. So here's a little quick tour around the inside of the center console. This is where we're going to place all of our equipment. We're going to have the units above. We'll see that in a moment. That's that panel we're looking at there. These are the current controls. This is the bus bar, which basically is sitting behind the all those switches. So I'm just trying to figure out where I can place things in here. There's a backing board right there that's the HDPE, which is the plastic that I can mount some stuff to. I think because of the lack of space here, I'm not going to be able to do a whole lot. That's a right rigging tube, so I can run cable there. And I'm sorry, that's the port side. This is the starboard side rigging tube.
Okay, so we're just, like I said, I'm just trying to figure out where we can get cables through, where we can do other things. Now it's time to mount the transducer on the stern there. The only place I found to do it was right above that drain plug. Problem with this boat, saltwater boats in particular, is it has anti-fouling paint on it. So what I had to do is scrape it. Well, unfortunately I didn't bring anything but a small screwdriver, so it took me about a half an hour to scrape that down.
Okay, the block is in place. Doesn't look like much, but that's it. Basically, you had to press it on. You had to remove this piece of black backing on the back, which is 3M heavy-duty stuff, compound. And basically now what I have to do is let this sit for 24 hours before I mount the transducer on it.
Here's the transducer mounted up. If you look at above the transducer there, you can see a couple of weld mounts, and that's basically to route the transducer cable up and around the stern there. There's the hole mounted for the Garmin transducer to go through, and you notice a couple things. One, I have tapered these holes here so we don't chip the glass, and I use a step drill. So drill this out fairly nicely, and it actually is equivalent to a step drill. This is the cover that I'm using, and this is the reason I had to use a 1-inch hole first to get the plug through. But the second, this cover has a little lip on it, and I want to fit that lip in the hole properly. And you can see for where my lines are, it looks like it fits pretty good. The transducer wire's in place. I filled that hole that you saw earlier with marine grade silicone. That way it's completely sealed in the stern there. Next thing I'm going to do is look at how I'm going to mount the heading sensor. So this is an access panel that's underneath the bimini top there. I believe that's what it's called on the boat. So this is where I ended up mounting the antenna. As you can see, there's a lot of silicone around the edges there, basically to seal it. I'm trying to figure out, I think we're far enough away from the radar dome. That's temporarily where we're going to mount the radar dome. So the cable, you see it was pulled there. You can see it's pulled all the way back through. So now what I've got to do is I got to pull that cable back down through the tubes there. So this is the GPS antenna. All I have to do now is put the screw in, and it should be all set to go. It's time to mount the radar. First, what we're going to do is we laid it up on top of on the bimini top here, trying to figure out where it is, where it really needs to go. Underneath here, we're looking at the under that the bimini top and the access panel right now, where he's drilling the access hole for the cables. There's two cables coming down off the radar. One's a power, one's an Ethernet cable. So when this hole gets pulled through, then we've got the template up there. We've got to drill the other 4 mounting holes. And so pretty much, you know, we're going to wait, and he's going to come right through here in a moment and drill that hole, and it's going to be kind of interesting. But we have to make it big enough. This is a 1-inch hole. It's the same type of cable piece that you see on a lot of the Garmin equipment. So there's the hole coming through, or drill. So that is the access hole for our cables. So now what I'm doing is I am putting on the studs, the mounting studs for the radar antenna itself. Now they give you anti-seize. It's copper colored, which I believe copper color is usually high temperature. Not sure why they gave you copper, but that's the way it is. The problem with the anti-seize, like all other anti-seizes, you can see it gets everywhere. I mean, you just look at it and touch it. So what I'm doing is I'm using an Allen wrench to tighten these studs up into the base of the radar unit itself. That way, you know, once you put the studs in place, you can take it in and out because these things are already, you know, locked in place. But the reason you want the anti-seize is not to, so it doesn't corrode on you. I got the cables now mounted in there. There's 2 cables, as I mentioned, Ethernet and power, and there's a little cable clamp. So what we did is we ran the cables up temporarily. You can see them hanging down through the bimini top there. We have already run the cables through these rigging tubes. If you look at the pieces on the bimini top, that's where it is. Okay, we know we want to mount the units in the main console there. So what I have to do is first is really check the back here and make sure there's nothing in the way. And it looks like we got lucky here, and there is nothing. So we should be good to go in mounting the units there. So we laid out the template on the console there, cut them out. Had to use a couple tools, but got them all cut out. So we put them side by side, little space between to be able to put the covers on. And what we've done right now, that picture just shows one unit that's in, and then the second one's ready to go, and that's just mocking it up. So next, I got to figure out where to put the VHF radio. I was really concerned about those two lines right there, the drain lines for the cup holders. I want to make sure I can clear them. So that's where we're going to put the VHF. So here's the cutout for the VHF radio. You'll see that's over there. If you look behind there, you can see the inside of that console. There's nothing there. That towel you see in the front there, we actually had to build a actually the owner built a workbench so we could get up in that access area. So that's it. Well, I mounted the VHF mic. Unfortunately, I had to move it over a little further left because there's a big bundle of cables right behind here, so I had to make sure I cleared it. Let me see that better. There you go. That's where the bundle was. So anyway, that looks okay. It's a little, he can easily get to it with the console here. So all right. Here's everything mounted up. We've got the two units there. This is a little bit later in the process, but they're both powered up. You can see how they are side by side, flush mounts. Well, stay tuned for the part 2. The part 2 will cover a lot more of the internals, what I put inside that console there, all the wiring, things like that, and I'll show you how the system gets updated and everything works from there. So I appreciate you guys watching if you made it this far, and hopefully we'll see you on the next one. But basically, subscribe if you want to make sure you can be notified of the next one coming up.